In and we come in live. What is up, folks? Super Kick Weekly here, the brand Big Vito T. Big Vito T, what up, my man?
Super Kick Weekly.
That's right.
What
That's
is
right.
up, dude?
Good to be back. It's good to be back. We got a
good
lot
to
of
be
stuff.
back.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I don't want to waste too much time here.
No.
No one cares how we're doing. They care about what the wrestling world's doing, right?
You're good. You're good. Let's do this.
That's the meat and potatoes of the subject. So we sit here, Vito. It is January 26, 2024, to give a timestamp to this,
Yes.
and we're a day away from the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
We
Is it
had
your favorite pay-per-view of the year?
It's probably close. I mean, I have a special spot for all the four tentpole events.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't say it's my favorite. I mean, I'm more of a...
You've been to two Manias, right?
I'm a WrestleMania mark. Yeah, no, I've been to two
Yeah.
Manias. And gosh, it's been
So-
almost 10 years since I've been to one, which is just freaking crazy to think. But yes,
yeah.
Royal
You've been
Rumble would
to
probably be
two
my
Manias,
second, but
so-
it's your favorite.
It is my favorite, yes. My favorite thing about the Rumble is the numbers video.
Right.
I mark for the numbers video.
Speaking
I
of
love
which, we got that numbers video this last week. Did you catch that? And it was
I didn't.
intermingled. It was intermingled with a Hulk Hogan promo where he teased
No,
a
I missed
possible
that.
return.
Uh-uh.
So before they rolled the
I
numbers
heard
video,
about today on a video.
right? Well, before they rolled the numbers video on Raw, they went to a video that was Hogan talking, and he was talking about how, you know, it's going to be the 40th WrestleMania, and he was at the first WrestleMania, and blah, blah, blah. And then he was like talking about like all these superstars are, you know, Hulkamaniacs, you know, Seth Rollins and, you know, this guy and that guy, you know, grew up a Hulkamaniac. And basically he gets to the end of it and he's like, oh no. And then he gives his picks, right, of who might win. And he's like, you know, he threw out Cody. He threw out Cena. Not Cena, but Punk. Of course, he talked about Cody. He talked about Punk. And then he's like, and then you can't forget the wild card factor, brother. You never know who's going to show up. And he's like, you never know. I might have one more left in me.
Shut up.
So
Yeah, right.
we might see a Hogan entrance. That would be something. Gosh, so much news.
I would not be happy if that, to say the least, would I not be happy about that. But hey, for those of you who are fans of Hulk Hogan and who would like, for some reason, to see him in the Royal Rumble this year, for you, I hope that's true. For me, I would cry a little.
So you've never been into Hogan? You've never been like a Hogan guy ever? Or is it just like the stuff that he's done, you can't support him anymore?
No, whenever NWO was big, you know, part of me had to like Hollywood Hogan. You know what I mean?
Right.
But no, I was never the Hogan guy.
Fair
I
enough.
was always an undercard guy. You know,
Yeah.
I liked Papa Shango and you know, Ultimate Warrior was sometimes on the undercard. You know, I liked him. And then when he went to WCW, I liked, you know, the cruiserweights, and I was more of a Macho Man guy. And, you know.
No, I supported Hogan there with the you know, when the Mega Powers exploded. I was on Hogan's side there, but then I was on Warrior's side the next year I was kind of a Hulk Hogan kid, I guess. But I was actually more, truth be told, I was more into Sting on the other side, on the other show.
Yes.
I was more into Sting than I was Hogan. Like, I liked Hogan. He
Me
was
too. I like
fine.
Sting and DDP, and I liked, even though he annoyed me, and I was still more entertained by like Disco Inferno and
Well, that's
those
like
guys, like that
later.
mid
That's
card
like
guy.
later WCW. I'm talking like Surfer
Yeah.
Sting days.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was
Okay,
like,
yeah.
yeah. So like, at the time, being a kid, between the two promotions.
I guess back then I was more. See, I'm not a huge tag team guy now, but back then I was because in WWF I liked the Rockers. I was a Shawn Michaels fan.
Right.
And in early WCW I liked Steiner's. And I was more, I don't know why. I just liked other people than Hogan for some reason. I don't know.
I caught
Hogan just
more.
wasn't my guy.
I caught more WCW as a kid. It seems like because when like the Saturday morning shows, I'd usually be watching cartoons instead, and so I'd miss that. But I would always catch WCW Saturday night or whatever it was, beforehand. You remember the all nighters? Were you ever? Did you watch back then?
I don't think so. That doesn't sound familiar.
Back in the day, like early 90s WCW, they would have on like a Friday or Saturday night, they would do this thing called WCW All Night or something like that, something to that effect. And on like TBS or whatever, they would like, take over like after prime time, like 10 o'clock or whatever. And it would be like literally all night long. It would be like, few of the announcers in the studio or whatever, just like introducing matches. They would just like play old matches basically. And they would talk a little bit about what was going on like at the time, but it was mostly like, yeah, here's this match from like Starrcade 88, 3 years ago or whatever. It was really cool.
Huh.
I don't know why I
That does
mentioned
sound
that.
pretty cool. I don't know.
It was just a
I don't
random
remember
thought.
why. Yeah. So,
Any hoot
my
and
memory's
holler.
bad. I had to look it up. I had to look up and see who was around back in like 92 WWF.
Right, this all started with the Hogan thing, yeah. Hogan.
Yes. So I was trying to remember, like, because Rick Martel was one of my favorites back then. IRS, I like stuff like that. Duggan, um, yeah. So
That
those mid card guys.
that
Roddy
being
Piper.
that being said, I do have the boot right here. So
Yes, you do.
I can't lie and say that I'm not like a kind of a mark for the guy. He is, one of the biggest
No,
wrestling
you are.
stars ever. So
Yes.
it's kind of it's one of those things. I don't want to talk about that too much. Because it hurts, man. It's one of those things where it's like, one of your heroes, and then one of their worst moments gets broadcast to the world. And as crappy as it might be,
A lot of
I
times
don't
I
think it's
forget
fair.
about that.
Right. So it's
A
not
lot of
really
times
a
I
part.
forget why people hate Hogan.
It's not like that. Okay. All right. I see. It's just,
I
yeah.
just wasn't a fan of his. You know what I mean? I actually,
No.
when I was watching videos the other day and I saw the whole Bubba Love Sponge thing pop up,
Oh,
and
God.
I was like, I totally forgot about that. But
I ripped on him during the Attitude Era, because I was very pro WWE
yeah,
after like 97,
yeah.
but
So,
any hoot and
so what do
holler,
you?
Hogan might come back. Since we're on the subject, let's go ahead and open this up with the Rumble. Talk
Okay,
about
you want to go over the card or just general discussion?
we'll talk the
I got the
positive
card
news
up front.
first. We'll sandwich this. We'll talk the positive news and then the
Okay.
controversial news and then we'll end it with more positive stuff. So yeah, you can go ahead and pull up the card.
Okay.
And we can run
the card
that
is very small, actually.
and make some predictions and whatnot.
Okay, the card is very small. First, let me go look real quick at the 2023 Rumble just to get an idea of difference here. Let's see. Okay, the card for the first Rumble had, or not the first Rumble, but last year's Rumble had 5 matches on it. This year's, so far, as of today, has 4, but who knows, SmackDown might add another one. But
Okay.
so far, as it counts, right now, the men's Rumble, women's Rumble, the championship match, it's a 4-way, and then Logan Paul and Kevin Owens. Those are the 4 matches. So, you
Well,
want
I
to
mean,
talk?
the 2 Rumbles take up 2 hours themselves, so
Yeah.
how much more you need,
So
really?
let's talk the small one here. The smallest of the matches: Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul.
They tried to throw a little something together for this. I saw where they did a little, WWE Performance Center thing.
I saw part of that. I didn't dive into it.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. This Logan
Paul
Paul
annoys me.
U.S. title reign. It should be a pretty good match. If we're looking at prediction wise, I don't see there being a reason for Logan Paul to lose it yet.
How many times has he defended the title?
He should probably go into Mania with it. I don't think any. Once, maybe? As far as I'm aware. But, you know, let Logan Paul go into Mania with the championship. KO doesn't need it unless the plan is for them to keep their program going. Somehow, maybe do like a tag match, with him and Sammy against Logan and somebody. They could do that. What do you think? You have any thoughts?
There's always people who say, "Oh, what have you done with this title reign? You've wasted this title reign. You haven't done anything with this title reign." Like you just said, I don't know any time that Logan's defended it. Did he defend it against Ricochet at some point? I don't know. You obviously don't know. Neither of us know. So it's not standing out at all.
No, he had a match with, he won it from Ray, right? So I think after that, he might have wrestled one guy, but I don't think so. I could look it up, I guess.
And we got Elimination Chamber next month, WrestleMania the month after that. So it's like, no, he shouldn't lose it right now. But, we got another month or 2 of Logan Paul doing nothing with the U.S. title. It's cool. Whatever. I'd rather Kevin Owens win and do something with it. He's a great U.S. champion. He's done it multiple times. He's a multiple-time U.S. champion, if I'm right. Maybe 2.
Yeah.
No.
But you know what people are going to say?
If I were to predict, I'd say Logan Paul. If I were to choose, I would choose Kevin Owens. Let's just put it like that. Kevin Owens is a 3-time U.S. champion. Excuse me. Sorry, buddy. 3-time U.S. champion.
He was the face of America. I do remember that.
He was.
Yes. Now, the question I have here with this would be like, to your point, I thought you said something pretty interesting just about, the prestige he's bringing to the title as far as defending it. And not saying that I believe this with my whole heart, not saying that this is my view, but I'd say the devil's advocate argument on the other side of that is that Logan Paul potentially bringing more eyes to the title by having it in his YouTube videos and all the other shit that he does all the time. So Depends on what side of the fence you're on that, if you think that stuff's actually effective or not. But
which is the reason why he won it in the first place.
right. That's the
Because
whole
he's
idea.
Logan Paul.
That's the whole idea. Yeah, for sure.
He won it so he can go take pictures of himself naked, Shawn Michaels style.
Trying to create, there's all kinds of like viral content he's created that's centered around him and that belt. There's one going around, don't know if you've seen, it's him and Patrick Mahomes from the Chiefs, and he trades him the belt for his Super Bowl ring. Pat Mahomes trades a Super Bowl ring to Logan Paul for the U.S. title and a Lemonade Prime.
Oh, wow.
And it's just like it's a joke or whatever. But
right. I'm into that. I kind of want to look at that.
Yeah.
So Logan Paul won the title back on November 4th at Crown Jewel. And he has not defended it at a pay-per-view since. So he might have defended it at a Raw. Who knows?
No, I don't think he ever wrestles. He's never wrestled on TV, I don't think. Probably won't. So yeah.
So no, you're right. I don't see him losing it. I'd like him to because, what have you done for me lately? But whatever.
So as a fan, no, but in reality, probably yes.
Yeah.
So what else we got?
I know we talked about this at length last time. I'm pretty sure we both fancy booked. I don't remember what either of us said, but we got the 4-way. Roman, Randy, AJ, and LA Knight. Can we both agree that Roman's not winning and not being pinned? Do you believe that? Do you think Roman's coming out of Rumble as champion?
Oh no, he ain't losing to one of these guys. No one's
really.
They're not doing a title change here. No. 0% chance, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I really do think that that he's losing the title by not being pinned tonight. And I'll tell you why I think that is because I think that he's going to Mania to face Rock, but I really don't think that him going to Mania to face Rock can happen if he's champion.
I see what you're saying.
It can happen, but it would be better if he wasn't champion.
I mean, they could move the title out of that.
He can lose tonight by not being pinned, and they can still say, "Oh, he hasn't been pinned in so many days, but he's not the champ, but he hasn't been pinned," type thing. That's what I think they're going for tomorrow.
That's possible.
Yeah,
and like you said, I don't think it's too crazy. They could move the title out of that, but then you have an issue of that headlines one of the nights, and then what title match headlines the other one.
Well, it'll be Seth Rollins.
Because they've pretty much given up their cards that the other guy's going to be Seth, because he's not going to defend the title. He's not going to be stripped of the title until then. So, like, he's in the match. Like, they revealed that before they really wanted to with this injury,
Yeah. How bad is this injury? I haven't really looked into that.
So, I don't really know. I know what he said on TV is that it's usually a 4 to 6 month thing. And we're at like a little over 2 months until Mania. So he said that he's going to go pretty much no matter what. So they apparently think that he will be all right enough at that point to at least have a match.
Oh, yes.
His leg might fall off, but hey.
Hey, Cody's pec almost tore right out of his body.
There you go.
So
So yeah, no, so I won't say 0% chance. I'll say, there's maybe a 10% chance what you said happens. But I mean, I think
I feel
it's
like
possible.
Roman is losing, but I can't tell you to who. I I look at those other three guys and I go, I don't know.
I mean, it would have to be Randy, if anybody. He's the only thing that the crowd wouldn't like be confused and kind of crap on. I mean,
I
LA
don't think
Knight
so.
could
I
pull
think
off the
people
big
would blow
shocker.
up if LA Knight won.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
LA Knight pins,
So
yeah.
I totally forgot that SmackDown still had to happen tonight
I
before
don't
we
know.
got on here.
I just don't really I just don't like it because then you're really kind of ruining what you've built with this title reign. Like
Yeah.
you want his loss to like actually mean something, and it be like a thing where a guy gets over and is made. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen that way. We always thought that about the streak, right?
Yep.
We
Exactly.
thought some
Well,
guy was going to end the streak that would make the next big superstar, but no, Brock ends it because whatever, he had some dirt on Vince or
yeah.
something. I don't know.
See, and this, my idea can do half of what you said. It could make something mean something, just not get the guy right over because him losing could set up that match for WrestleMania. And if it's LA Knight who gets the title, that's a huge payoff with how over he's been recently. Um, but I don't know. It could go
Well,
either way,
then
you know.
Rock's facing the guy who's no longer actually the head of the table, though. That's the thing. But either way,
Who knows?
but they
Um,
at this point, man, with all this crazy stuff that happens, like there's probably a lot that's like off the table now and being redone, and of course we'll
oh
get to
yeah,
more of that later. What else do we have on the card, though?
that's it. Now I'm going to talk about
Oh shit! So two
who's been
matches and
announced
then
for the
the
yes,
rumbles. Okay, wow.
yeah, but SmackDown's tonight, so they might announce something else.
There could be something, yes.
So I'm going to tell you who's announced for the Rumble, and there's not many.
Okay.
So Cody Rhodes, Punk, Nakamura, Lashley, McIntyre, Gunther, Chad Gable, Otis, Akira Tozawa, Kofi Kingston, and Damian Priest. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12.
Okay.
12. That means 18 more guys got to be announced.
Should be an interesting pool.
So, on the other side, well, hold on a second. Let's just stay with that for a minute. I'd like to think that Andrade is coming.
Yep.
Um,
Heard that a
I
little
mean,
bit. Possible.
I think that's for sure happening. I don't see Xavier Woods on that list. I think he should probably be in there. Now, um, this is on my list of things to talk about, but since we're talking about the Royal Rumble predictions and we're talking about entrance, Kota Ibushi. I don't know if he's officially signed, but he showed up to TNA and kissed the TNA logo.
No, that was Okada.
What did I say?
You said Kota Ibushi.
Yes, sorry, Okada. My bad. Okada, folks.
It's all good.
Didn't got my Japanese guys messed up. Okada. Yes. So so if he is with TNA, there is a possibility he can do it once off for the Rumble, like Mickey James did.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Yeah.
just Okada pop over, do a couple minutes in the Rumble, throw a guy out, get thrown out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that would be cool. Kota Ibushi is a no.
Right.
No chance for Kota Ibushi. But Okada, maybe.
Yeah, they could do it. I mean, what would be the harm in him coming in? They could test out what kind of a pop he would get in front of the Royal Rumble audience, you know? And
Yeah.
if it's a good pop, then freaking sign him. You know, that's what I would do if I was Trips. Like, hey,
And
we're
I
gonna
don't
test
see.
this out with our audience. You know, we'll see what kind of a ovation you get at the Rumble and go from there.
Yeah, Dominic's not on here. Finn Balor's not on here. R-Truth's not on here.
They will
So
probably
there's
all
a lot of
be.
guys who will probably get announced tonight.
There's definitely going to be a lot of Judgment Day stuff,
Yeah.
right? Because they're not
Yeah.
anywhere else on the card. So a good portion of this match is going to be blocked out to like the Judgment Day, like wreaking havoc, I think, on everyone.
Yeah.
So there's that.
So
So just watch
and
for that, look for
for
that, because that's a guarantee, I
for
think.
any other guys that might show up, including I'm not even gonna say his name because I think there's a 0% chance of him showing up. So I'm not even gonna say his name. Even though you listed him on your video, shout out to your video on your other channel. I'm not saying his name.
It
Because
is
I don't think he's
possible.
coming 0% chance. So, uh, I'm gonna move over to the women's because this one's a little more intriguing.
Well, wait a minute. Who's your pick
What?
though? Who's your pick to win? You totally glossed over that. Who do you think's going to win?
Ooh, that's a tough one for me. Actually, I'm gonna say one more thing
Okay.
before I go to choose my pick. My ideal situation in here, I honestly, I don't even have a pick yet. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm gonna attempt to throw a name out there in a minute. But for this situation where they're like either it's either Cody or Punk. My ideal situation is Cody and Punk to grab each other by their neck and do this like do thing, and then one of them throw one over the top rope while the other one still holds them by the neck and just pull each other over. Both get eliminated at the same time, halfway through the rumble. And actually
Okay.
put them in at 1 and 2. Let them fight. I don't know, 30 minutes throughout all the guys, and then throw each other over the top. Cody versus Punk at Mania. There you go, Trips. Book it.
That is possible.
Fuck.
I've seen that theory floated around that, you know, don't be
Yeah,
surprised if neither one of those dudes win and they end up wrestling each other at Mania. Wouldn't be
give
a
it to me.
surprise. Yeah.
Give it to me. I love it. And you know what? There's something. There's a name being thrown around, and I'm gonna go with that name. Actually, I'm gonna say Gunther for the win.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's my pick. Gunther for the win. Put him in at number 27. That's a magic number. Uh,
So he goes in and then goes on to challenge Seth just like he kind
yep,
of teased this last week.
yep,
They've
yeah.
teased a lot of
Have him
guys.
maybe lose his title and lose his Intercontinental title in Elimination Chamber. Not his fault. Maybe I don't know. Not. I don't really like champions going into a match winning championship belts because then they have to lose one championship belt while they're the champion. And I think it's more credible to lose a belt before they get a title than to lose a smaller belt while they're the world champion. Because if somehow you have to, they're like, oh, here's your Intercontinental title, it's gone now. You know what I mean? I
Right.
just don't think that's a good idea. So I'd rather him lose the Intercontinental title some way to make him not look weak,
Right.
than losing it while like them stripping it from them or something like that,
Right.
or being a double champ or something. So that's a scenario that I'd like to deal with. Do you got a pick? What's your pick? Don't tell me Hogan either.
You're right. Yeah. No, Hulk, bro. Gotta be Hulk. Um, just kind of based off of where we kind of think everything is headed, I would say it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that Dwayne shows up and wins. If we're looking at, I think the Hogan thing was kind of done to kind of maybe throw people off the trail. No one's really talking much now about Rock's appearance. And, now that it was just announced that he's like a board member and all this, I think it would make sense for him to show up. And let me tell you, the WWE fans could really use the morale boost at this point. You know what I mean?
Have you seen the video of Samantha Irvin when Rock's music hit?
Yes.
And then she turns around. Yeah, that was great.
You just can't help it. That's one of those things.
She's a treasure. I really like her.
It is electricity,
So let's. Oh, man, you really got me with your pick.
So that's mine. Now we can move on to the girls.
If he does win, and I'm gonna be texting you some text message you're gonna get
some expletives.
So let's move over to the women's Royal Rumble match now. They have only announced 6 entrants. We're 24 hours away from the Royal Rumble, and there are 6 women announced. Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Maxine Dupree, and Ivy Nile. Have you seen that Ivy Nile?
No.
She's a little pit bull, man.
Yeah.
Buff. Yeah.
So they should really create some more drive and get more people involved. I think they do a pretty good job at trying to give everyone a little storyline going into it, but only 6 women so far. You know what I mean? Like, come on. There's all this TV time. You could have been given these girls, something to lead into it, because then it just becomes just kind of like with the guys, right? Then you realistically have they show you who are the realistic picks already by doing this. Like whoever is already in it, those are the realistic, winners. When you talk about
one of these women will probably win.
Right. I mean, it could be someone
Bayley
that's a
or
total
Becky
surprise.
Lynch are real popular.
You think we see Jade? That's the question.
I strongly believe that Jade Cargill is going to be there. Strongly.
She's got to be, right? I mean,
yeah.
Come on.
This has got to be her debut.
Right.
How
long did it take? She was signed over the summer, wasn't she? It's like, she's had 6 months in the PC. She wasn't terrible to begin with. Like, she should be ready to go.
No. Yeah. I didn't realize this until I was looking at some news today, but old Naomi her contract's up from TNA, and she said goodbye to the fans.
Yep,
so
I saw that.
There's a damn good chance she's coming back.
For sure.
Like a major good chance she's coming back.
We could get Mercedes.
The only person I can't really put my finger on is Mercedes. I mean, I don't want her to come back. It's not that I hate Sasha Banks. It's just I want Mercedes Moné somewhere else. She didn't do much in Japan. She got to win the title, but did nothing with it. Her match against Kairi Sane was awesome. I I think it was Kairi Sane, right? Yeah, it was Kairi Sane. Uh, I really wouldn't mind see her in AEW, but I really want to see her do a little bit more in Japan. So I don't know. I do not want to see Sasha Banks tomorrow night. I really don't.
Give it another year, you know?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Put her in next year's Rumble.
right, yeah. Do some
Actually,
more
I would
stuff,
love to
though.
see her. I would love to see her in this year's women's casino battle royal. That'd be cool. Put her in the Joker's card
There
in
you
the
go.
women's casino battle royal. Let's put her in that. Okay.
They could use it for sure.
Who else? Who else? What woman would I like to see show up here? We
Yeah,
got
so
lots of
who's your
them.
solid prediction for winning?
For winner
For
of this
winner.
Rumble.
Winner take all. On the women's side.
Man. I don't hate the idea of Bailey winning. I really don't.
I like it. Right,
Um,
because who are the belt holders right now? Rhea and Io Sky, right?
Io Sky, yeah. I almost said
So
Shirai, but
so you have Bailey probably challenging her,
yeah,
possibly
because of the whole damage control thing, they're kind of making her the Cinderella of the group.
on the
They're
fritz.
kind of making fun of her. The
Right.
foreigners are making fun of her.
Well, there you go. That
So,
seems like a solid enough pick. And I
but a
can't
lot of
say
people are saying Becky Lynch, but to go after Rhea,
Becky just has
Becky
no
Lynch don't.
momentum. She's barely been on TV leading up to this. It's like, you know,
Becky Lynch don't need to win a Royal Rumble.
at this point,
She
no, she's
doesn't.
done it already. I mean, it's just kind of, she's just kind of there.
Well,
Something,
Asuka won the first Women's Royal Rumble, and that was a shock. No one really thought that was going to happen.
yeah.
So, they could do something crazy.
Uh,
They can bring Jada and have her win her first Royal Rumble, her
she could.
debut.
She very well could. But you know who it's
So,
probably going to be, though? You know who my pick is?
so
I'm not like most girls.
I don't even think that's her theme song now.
No, it's not. It's like a remix of that, but yeah. No, it's probably going to be
That's a
something.
possibility.
It's probably going to be something kind of lame like that, like Naya. I'm pretty sure
When's the last
that's what
time
I'm
an
going with.
actual big person won the Rumble?
Right? What I'm saying, Yokozuna.
I don't know.
All
Maybe.
those years, Big Show never won the Rumble. I don't. Kane never won it. I don't think Taker ever actually. I think maybe once. Taker ever won the Rumble?
I don't
I
know.
need to look that up. I don't think he did. Taker never needed a
know,
Rumble
but
win.
It's just strange that there's always that spot where they take 20 people throughout the big person, but they
Right,
never win.
right. It's
Like, why are you
time to
guys even working on them? You know they never win.
it's time to flip that formula on its head
Yeah.
and actually have the weight strategy be the strategy that works.
Yeah, it's time for Nia to like flip those 10 people over and her grab the rope or something. I don't know. Do it good.
So it's come down to her and Piper Niven at the end.
Oh, that'd
That's
be
how it should go
sweet.
down. That's how it should go down. No, but I mean, that would be my prediction. If you're going to have someone on the Raw side win, I think it would be Nia, and then she challenges Rhea. I think they could have an interesting match with how with how stiff Nia works, and then Rhea's style. I think they could do something kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's possible.
I Yeah, I don't know. So, I got some news right before I got on here that can lead us right into our next topic.
Let's do it. Yes,
Oh, wait.
here comes the dark part,
Okay.
the dark
Yeah,
portion.
and then I have some light part when we're done.
Okay.
Slim Jim has pulled their um, sponsorship from the Royal Rumble.
Oh wow! Yikes. Okay.
Um, Let me
Wow!
just
Wow!
go
Wow!
double.
So we're going to have to see how far the other shoe falls. So what Vito is referring to is, of course, the huge news that came out this week, basically in a nutshell, to try to put it into a very short perspective for y'all. Vince McMahon, the man we all know from this wrestling world here. Lawsuit was filed in Connecticut Civil Court by a former employee accusing him of all sorts of things, including a variation of sex trafficking. What were some of the other charges, Vito?
Um,
Just like
Assault. Uh,
abuse, some rape type stuff, some pretty serious
I don't
allegations
even
being
know
made.
what you would consider some of the stuff she's alleging.
And it's not really, I wanted to be as kind of like, dude, we're not here to really give our takes on this and try to make a stance one way or another. This is a civil matter. Um, some of the facts, all the facts may be true. Some of the facts may be true. None of the facts could be true. We don't really know. My initial thoughts is that this is a civil case and not a criminal case. So this person is after money as opposed to any kind of criminal justification for anything that Vince has done. There's a lot of ins and a lot of outs. It's kind of, we don't have the time to really cover it all, but Vince is
I would
apparently
like
in
to
some
say
trouble.
one thing about this.
He's in some trouble.
If the text messages that I read today, supposedly from Vince McMahon, are true, and some of the other things I've read that were supposedly from Vince McMahon are true, there should be a little bit of time or more than money put up, which I'm not playing sides here, but some of the stuff I've read today that she's alleging is damn right criminal. Okay, but
Right.
that's just my interpretation of what the things I've
Oh, for
read.
sure. And
Now,
maybe, someone
if
that's smarter than me actually knows why it's being pursued like this, and not in a different way. Maybe they can, if they can prove this in civil court, maybe then it turns around and becomes a criminal case. I don't really know how these things work. There doesn't seem to be any kind of real
yeah,
precedent. Well, I mean, there is. I mean, stuff like this, I'm sure happens all the time.
yes,
So yeah, bro. It's going to be very interesting. So yes, in light of these accusations and this making news all around the world, so, I mean, every media outlet's picked up on this at this point. Now we have sponsors, breaking news, people, sponsors pulling their sponsorships from WWE events, including a major sponsorship promoting the Royal Rumble, which I'm sure they paid a pretty penny to do, probably a few $1 million or at least $1 million, you would think at least, to have the show title sponsor. So, yikes.
yeah.
Yikes.
So
So what, but I mean, Vito, if you have that article up still, let me ask you, I mean, what is Slim Jim, I mean, what do they want out of it? Do they just want disassociated? Do they want Vince like completely removed? Like what stance are they taking? Like what's the official?
Let's see.
Like what
Give
they
me
said.
1 second. I'll see if
Okay.
I can pull up the. Um, here it says. Let's see. It says according to Wrestle Votes, they will no longer be involved with the Royal Rumble. It is unknown if they will remain partners for future events beyond uh, this premium live event. That's according to Wrestle Votes.
Wow. That's a
It
huge.
says that Slim Jim has notified WWE that they are pulling their sponsorship from tomorrow's Royal Rumble event. It is yet determined if they will be partners in the future. And you gotta know that Slim Jim has been partners with WWE off and on since as long as I can remember. Snap into a Slim Jim, oh
Yeah.
yeah, you
Macho.
know what I mean?
They still,
Yeah,
it's so weird because they still use Macho's likeness on like
yeah,
Slim Jim stuff. Like if you see the boxes in the store, it's got like Macho Man on there. So you like wonder
yeah.
like who gets the I hope that's going to Randy's family, but who knows?
Um, and if now that this Vince thing has come out, there are so many people on X, which X is a vile place, but sometimes it can be
Can
a
be.
place where you come out and things come out, and that's where news comes from sometimes, whether it be good, bad, or wrong news. Um,
True.
but some people are saying things that's like, oh, now that this is out, I kind of seen this coming and or saw some stuff.
Right.
Um, Paul London came out and said some stuff about Ashley Massaro, and we know what happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Kurt Angle came out and said this was a weird quote. I have to read it out loud. Kurt Angle said, "It was weird. It was very uncomfortable. Vince, not only was he directing, oh, this is about Kurt Angle making out with Stephanie.
Right.
He
Yeah.
was literally 2 feet away from us. Vince is right behind the camera looking at us. I'm not saying he felt like he looked like he was aroused, but he had this look like, I want to see this." So I'm like, okay,
Wow.
that's a weird quote from Kurt Angle. But yeah. So on X, there's people coming out and saying different things like, I kind of saw this about Vince. This is when we were doing this, he kind of was really into this part, and I don't know. A
Hmm.
lot of stuff's coming out now.
I haven't
A
seen
lot of
too
stuff.
much of that. Just a lot of people, retweeting the text messages and this and that, but
Oh no, there's a lot of I guess testimonials or whatever it is, people saying this is how I felt, this is what I saw, this is what I've heard, this is blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
right.
So anyway,
Well, I mean, look, we all knew that this was very much a possibility of, you know, uh, I don't know. There's some weird paradoxes. It makes me feel weird to be, and this is the crappy part about it, man. This is what sucks, is that it makes you feel weird to be a fan in a way. You know what I mean? Now all the years, it's like we spent supporting and liking and everything for this guy. It just feels so like dirty, because it's like, man. Because
yeah,
if it is all true, man, it's like, how can you support a human being like that and support his business? And you know.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's, you know, it's been such a big part of all of our lives. So, you know, it's like finding out, you know, bad stuff about Walt Disney and stuff, you know. It sucks. Not gonna lie, but we'll have to see how it shakes out. You know, Vince's people said they will defend himself against these allegations. We'll have to see how it all shakes out in court. That's another thing, just another point, you know, I want to bring up about the text messages that, you know, we only see one side of all that and context and, you know, a whole bunch of other things kind of have to be established before, you know, I mean, yeah, I can't. That's all I can really say. That's all I can really say. Those are my only
It's all
thoughts.
coming out. It's still early. There's only a few
That's all
people who knows what happens.
I'm not going to sit here and try to be the guy on the soapbox. I'm also not going to like try to defend the guy either. We'll just have to see what happens, but I'm just still in total shock. So,
yeah.
But on the good news side of that, which is kind of weird that this all happened just 2 days after WWE announced that they had a new board of director guy, The Rock. Also, that Raw was going to be moving to Netflix next January.
I forgot all about that, actually.
Right? You just forget about it. Wasn't that such a huge thing?
We even talked about this yesterday.
Yes.
We were actually texting about this yesterday, and I totally forgot after reading all this news this morning. My goodness.
That was going to be the show, and now all this other stuff happened. So yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
The Raw coming to Netflix. What's your take?
Oh man. My take is exactly that thing I sent you yesterday. It's the Netflix thing where it said in the middle, the third hour of Raw. It said, "Are you still watching?"
Right. Yeah.
No. I think it's very interesting. I think that like me and you were talking about, every time they move channels, they lose something. They lose a group of people. I think they're going to gain the people who can't afford cable but who can afford Netflix. I think they're going to lose the people who don't know how to use Netflix. Lose the people who don't know how to use Netflix. The rating system is totally going to be screwed.
Right.
So they're going to lose that completely.
There's no rating. There will be no more ratings to compare every week.
No.
That's over.
So AEW will win the ratings war.
Right.
Woo! Go Tony. Yeah. I don't know. I guess those are my thoughts.
It's big internationally for them, of course, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. Because I mean,
I know it's weird.
Because overseas, they still have the network instead of Peacock.
I know.
And now that's all going to Netflix, which there's probably more international users of Netflix than there were of the WWE network, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So
I thought about getting a VPN just for that.
I didn't even know Netflix like did live content. You know, they never have it, as far as I know. You know, I'm never on Netflix when they have anything live going on, as far as I'm aware.
I've never seen anything live on Netflix.
Right.
I just recently found out they had games on Netflix.
I mean, I've heard, I think of like a couple golf things happening on there, but it's very weird. Weird age we're living in now, but this is the end of an era, of course. My main thought, you know, no more WWE on cable television. Well, there will be. I mean, SmackDown will be on USA, and NXT will be on the CW. But that's pretty much the biggest thing. So we'll still have wrestling on USA, just on a different night. And, who knows? Maybe this makes SmackDown more of a tentpole attraction. That could also happen too. I know, we talked about there being some viewers going over to the Tony side. But, this might just force people to watch SmackDown every Friday, potentially. Which the ratings are about the same, I think, for both shows. So I don't know how much that really matters.
You imagine on SmackDown, they start telling people how to get Netflix. I can't wait for those videos.
Oh, for sure.
If you don't already have Netflix, this is how you get it. Go Netflix.com or download the Netflix app on your Google or Android store.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait for those. They did the network. Remember that?
Yep. Or no, before it was a network, it was the WWE app. You got to get the app.
Yep. Man.
Freaking Michael Cole. Michael Cole would come to me in my dreams at that time. Be like, you got to download the WWE app.
Yeah.
I've got it, Michael. I've got it, Mike. You look like Pettingill.
The one thing that still rings in my head is Mean Gene Oakland. 1-900-909-9900. That's right. 1-900-909-9900. Get your parents' permission. Kids, get your parents' permission before you call.
I believe the WWF number was 1-900-737-4WWF or something like that. I know that was
that one. Mean Gene was more.
That was the last. The last 4 was for WWF. Speaking of which, in Royal Rumble 95, almost 30 years ago now, 29 years ago, Royal Rumble 95, I was not able to get the event, so I begged my dad to let me use my neighbor's long-distance phone to call the hotline to get the results. And, of course, I stayed on there. The results maybe took about 5 or 10 minutes for them to go through. But then I decided I was going to stay on the phone and play Royal Rumble trivia to win a free T-shirt. And I did win because I was like a boss. Like, the trivia questions were super easy. And you know what? They never sent me that shirt. So if any WWE people, if you're out there, I would really like my Royal Rumble 95 T-shirt. It's just anywhere out there in the ether.
You should tweet that to Cody Rhodes.
Dude, I did. I commented on his thing. You saw that too? I have a comment on that tweet about whatever he was talking about. What did he not get when he was
I don't know. I saw that somewhere. I don't remember that, but that's just what made me think about it. I didn't really dive into that, but just saw it in passing.
Yeah. No, yeah. So, I commented on that tweet. I was like, hey, while you're at it, get my Royal Rumble 95 shirt. Because, like a month or two later when that dude's phone bill came, it was like somehow it ended up being like $300 or $400. And, I was like, oh, my dad chewed me out for it. And I was like, there's no way. I'm like, I was on there for maybe 20 minutes. I'm like, $1.99 a minute, 20 minutes. Like, that doesn't add up. Like, that would have been like $40, $60 maybe, But who knows? There's probably all kinds of other fees and stuff involved. But then they called the phone bill and they were like, no, we didn't do this, and they just took it off the bill. So
nice.
You could do stuff like that back then.
Yeah. I accidentally. I don't remember if I accidentally did it. I was kind of a bad kid back then. Ordered the pay-per-view at my aunt's house.
Ooh, yeah.
I was like, oh, that sucks. We're gonna have to watch it. Can't take backsies. So me and my cousin walked to the store and got some snacks, and when we came back, my aunt had already called the cable company and
Oh
canceled it.
no.
And I was like, "Ah, oh,
Turn the feed off.
boo!"
That sucks, man.
Thought I was a good tricky
What
trickster back then, but
what show was it? Do you remember?
I don't know.
No.
It was back. Let's see, I was probably 9, so it was, 94, somewhere in 94, probably
I would have given you
93.
an anecdote about if I was watching that show or not. Would have been cool to find out. 94,
Yeah.
we didn't order many shows that year, I don't think. SummerSlam, I think I got SummerSlam 94 on pay-per-view. That was the old pay-per-view
Yeah.
box. And it's like, it was before you actually had boxes in every house. Like,
Yeah.
if you wanted to get the pay-per-view, you had to go to the cable company and pick up the box so you could actually get it, or maybe people did have boxes in their house, but we didn't. Maybe it was cheaper to not have the box and just run the coax. I don't know. But I remember we'd have to gotta go get the pay-per-view box if we want the show. And then they eventually like put the boxes in like everywhere. You could just call them. But yeah, I remember having to get the box and then bring the box back. Also, remember written VCRs? You remember that? Isn't that weird?
Oh yeah.
Written VCRs and written Nintendos.
I rented a VCR from a Hollywood Video there.
Yeah.
In One Champion Plaza.
Bro, I don't know if I told you about this, but a couple weeks ago, I was driving with my kids somewhere, and it was a pretty long drive, and I was able to like talk for like an hour straight about like tapes, like VHSs, VCRs, cassette tapes, just like the whole thing, just like trying to explain the technology to them and like why it was important. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And why it was important and like what we had to do in order to do things. I'm like, no, you guys just don't understand. Like, if you wanted to tape a show, or, if you wanted a show, you had to like get these tapes and you had to like record them using this other machine. And just like explaining it, I'm just like, this is so weird having to like explain this whole concept of no, you got to get this machine. Yeah. You got to get this machine. You got to get these tapes. And then you got to sit there and wait. And, if you don't want the commercials in your tape, then you had to get really good at cutting out the commercials, sitting there with your remote, hitting pause when the commercial came on, and then wait until it came back and then hitting unpause. So your commercials were cut out on your video. You had to make sure you're diligent. You couldn't get distracted and forget to hit unpause. Then you'd mess it all up.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many things.
Yeah, we're explaining to Willow about that on recording songs off the radio.
That too. I was trying to explain that to them. We'd have to either record to the radio, tape to tape, or CD to tape.
Yep.
We couldn't just go on Spotify or YouTube to hear a song. Nope. Sometimes you would hear a song on the radio or MTV and you wouldn't know what it was and it would just get lost in the ether. There was nothing.
Yeah.
If you never saw it again, it was gone. It was literally gone. You had no Shazam. You had nothing.
Nope.
Bro, I'm having a midlife crisis. Having a midlife crisis. We're going to go ahead and bounce out of here. Vito, any parting words, my man? This was good. This is good stuff.
Looking forward to the Rumble.
Yes, absolutely.
Ready for it.
I'm still excited about it, regardless of all this controversy. Trying to not let it mess with me and want to just lose myself in wrestling tomorrow. And I hope I get... I hope I get to do that, and I hope it's not a whole bunch of BS, like, something just like else happens. The show gets canceled or something because of all this. But we'll see. I doubt that happens, but... Or the crowd just, completely turns on everyone.
Booze the whole time.
Right. The crowd just doesn't go to the show. Everyone just it's an empty arena, Royal Rumble. You never know.
Oh, man.
Hey, you guys, if you
Wrestling crowds can be weird.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for hanging out with us, guys. Make sure you're subbed to the channel if you've made it to this point, or you're giving us 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever else you're listening to us. You can't see me. My time is now.
I also don't want him to go. Yeah, no John Cena either.
It could
happen. Throw that out there.
It could happen.
Trying to cut you off, but no John.
No, it's all good. Big Vito T, my man. Give me some. Oh, nope, we're down here now. Too sweet. Give me a too sweet, and then a scissor. Something like that. I don't know. No, wait, it's this one. Too sweet.
Yeah.
There we go. I was using the wrong camera. This thing has 2.